This will be a demonstration of the Canadian Bombardier Iltis fuel sender unit, and I'm going to start off assuming that this is a new old stock fuel sender. It's actually a unit that was pulled out of a salvage unit. If you have a new fuel sender, they will usually come with this wire attached in here. Now that wire clips into the unit and prevents the float, which would go up and down, from moving on its own during transport. So the first thing you have to do is to make sure you remove the wire, preventing it from floating up and down. If you don't remove the wire, obviously your fuel gauge is not going to operate properly. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I have put connections on here. There's a red wire that would normally be going up to the fuel gauge in the speedometer head, and the black wire is the ground. So the fuel sender is just acting as a variable resistor that's being adjusted by the level of fuel in the fuel tank. Okay, so as we have this thing, the fuel sender right now is at the bottom of the tank, and when we see the volt ohm meter, we'll see that it's running around 50 ohms approximately. When the unit is inverted, you should be able to hear the sender slide, and on the volt ohm meter it's dropping to around 3 ohms. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm using an older analog volt ohm meter. It's currently set on resistance, and every time I invert the unit, now we're back to around 50 ohms, and when I go back, so this position for the purpose of the demonstration is showing what the float would be when the tank is full, and this position is when the float is here and the tank is empty. We'll change the camera and show how things turn up on the volt ohm meter. Okay, we now have the volt ohm meter on the camera, and we should be getting a good view on here. We're looking at the needle here, and that's where it would read at a empty tank. And now I'm going to invert the sender, and the reading should go to the level that it would be when it's a full tank of gas. So we can see that as I invert the sender, the reading changes, which indicates that the resistance in the sender has changed, and you can also hear the float moving and then hitting as I rotate the unit. So if you don't hear the sender float moving, then it's stuck inside, and there's all kinds of potential causes. You could have a broken wire in there, or the most likely cause is there's some particles from the breakdown of the foam safety balls that are lodged in the sender, and you will probably have to open up the sender and see if you can clean it out. And if you're lucky, just reassemble the unit, and if it's pooched, then you have to buy a new sender. So that's your quick demonstration how to do a volt ohm reading on the unit. And again, the probes should be attached onto the top unit to read the resistance inside the sender.